So if you've been on the channel and you've been following me, and um, honestly, you shouldn't even have had to follow me for a long time. I think I referenced it in the Joe Cocker Woodstock performance, which, by the way, just for anybody who also cared to watch this, that also watched the Joe Cocker video. Um, the Joe Cocker video, so it got blocked. We got it unblocked, and then they blocked it again. So that's why you don't see it on YouTube anymore. It's still up on the Patreon. I'm in the process of seeing how we could resolve this issue and get it unblocked again. But I see so many newcomers say, "Hey, react to the Joe Cocker live Woodstock performance." I did. It was just taken down. So fingers crossed for this. But I referenced this performance in the Joe Cocker video because I'm sure anybody who's been following me for a while knows that I'm very fascinated with the 1969, the original Woodstock. It's just it's one of the days that changed the history of music. It's one of the most important days in the history of music, and I have a very deep affection for it. It's been a long time since I've watched that documentary. I was a kid when I watched it, so I really don't remember much. I didn't even recognize the Joe Cocker performance. And I really don't remember this, but I do remember the story. This, of course, wasn't in the documentary, but I remember the stories about, honestly, and I feel like it happened to everybody. I remember the Janis Joplin story. She was with a female friend of hers, and they got high. They were doing heroin right before her performance, and she tried to perform, and her voice was cracking and everything. I would love to watch a Janis Joplin Woodstock performance. Again, I really don't remember the documentary and the performances like that, but I do remember the stories because I recently did like a quick summary read on some of the Woodstock stories not too long ago, a few years ago, and I remember the story of Santana. So it's been told the whole band was high as a kite. They didn't. So something had happened. Somebody was supposed to perform when Santana is performing here, and they were late, or they weren't there yet, or they weren't coming, or they were so backed up with the traffic. I forgot the exact story, but basically Santana wasn't supposed to be performing, and they were high. They were getting high, and then the Woodstock organizer said, "Hey, could you go back on and do a couple of more songs until the band gets here?" So I heard, I don't know if so from what I understand, they performed, they got off, and then they were told to come back to help replace that band. So I assume that they got high after the first performance. I could have this story completely wrong, but I do know the legend has it is that the footage we're about to watch, they are high as a kite. That's just to give this video some background. But again, I'm not completely sure. But because this is our first reaction to Santana, y'all know we got to do research in keeping the history, keeping the tradition, I should say, of this channel. And while I know of Santana, I don't know a lot about him. So we gotta do our research here. So here we go. Santana is an American rock band formed in San Francisco in 1966 by a Mexican-born guitarist Carlos Santana. The band has undergone various recording and performing lineups in its history, with Santana being the only consistent member. After signing with Columbia Records, the band's appearance at Woodstock Festival in 1969 increased their profile, and they went on to record the commercially successful and critically acclaimed album Santana Abraix. I hope I pronounced that right. Santana the Third. Okay. The classic lineup is Neil. I'm stick with the first names: Neil, Greg, Michael, David, Carlos, Jose. Gotcha. They're classified as Latin rock, blues rock, psychedelic, acid, Chicano. I've never heard of Chicano. Chicano fusion is rock music performed by Mexican American group. Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't know that where you're from changes the genre or the subgenre. I didn't know that. Okay. Jazz fusion and yacht rock, known as the West Coast sound, is a broad music style and aesthetic commonly associated with soft rock. Yacht rock. Wow, I did not know that. Okay. Boy, we learn something new every day. Okay, so we just saw they were signed to Columbia, RCA, Legacy, Concord, Shirtone, Reprise, Polydor, Arista. I recognize a few of those. Santana is one of the best-selling groups of all time with over 47 million certified albums sold in the U.S. and an estimated 100 million worldwide. Its discography includes 25 studio albums, 14 of which reached the U.S. top 10. The lineup of Santana, Rowley, Carabello, Shreve, Brown, and Arias was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2000, the band won 8 Grammys in one night, a record tie with Michael Jackson. Wow. I did not know that. Oh, wow. That's incredible. They won 8 Grammys in one night. Wow. That's incredible. Okay. Well, look, like I said, I knew they were legends. Their music still gets sampled to this day. The most memorable and notable is Wild Thoughts, the Rihanna, DJ Khaled, Bryson Tiller. They sampled the Maria song. But I haven't heard their early work, their late 60s work. So I'm really excited to watch this. Everything at Woodstock was classic, legendary, iconic, and they said this performance is what propelled them to superstardom. So I'm excited to see what turned them into superstars. So let's get into it. That finger. Look at the finger going. Go. On the organ. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Cigarette. Yeah, yeah. He took a cigarette out of his mouth. Cowbell. Oh, they are vibing. Wait, time out. Oh, we almost halfway in. So, is this the whole performance? Is no lyrics? The song is called Soul Sacrifice. But it's no lyrics? Well, I mean, we still got some time to go. Maybe it's just a long intro like I'm blanking, but of course we've reacted to plenty of songs that had long intros. But they are jamming right now. Everything they just using cowbells, maracas, congos, bass. I'm loving the bass. That's my favorite thing so far. Doom 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 doom. But like they going crazy. My man had the cigarette in his mouth. He spit it out to pick up the like they going crazy. And that solo by Santana, by Carlos Santana, like they going crazy up here. Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. For one, I didn't know the Woodstock stage was that wide or long. I don't know the right term, but I didn't know it was like that. Like it's not big in the grand scheme. Like when you take a look at the whole thing, but just the structure of it, like it looks pretty big, bigger than what I thought it was. I remember people saying it was a pretty small stage, and it is. Like for a festival this size and that many performers, like it is pretty small. And it looks unfinished, by the way. It looks like it looked like they just put some wood down on like a scaffold and just kind of called it a day. It don't look the safest. But people on the stage jamming. I mean, they really not showing the crowd, which I'm not mad at. Compared to the Joe Cocker performance where they didn't show, like it was just a real close up of Joe. I like with this performance they moving around and I can see everything. I can see they showing the hands on people playing the instrument, the close ups on the face, and then they come out and so you can see them playing. I love whoever shot this version should have shot the Joe Cocker show performance, because this is light years better. I'm able to see everything, see them jamming in unison, looking at each other, vibing with the crowd. Yeah, this is crazy.
Santana.
That's one hell of a ovation. And they said that was the breakout performance. I'm sure it was. That was one hell of a... Okay, so let me see if I could find... Just to make sure I just want to make sure that I didn't make that story up. I feel like it was Santana. Like I said, I feel like, as far as we concerned, damn near every artist that performed at Woodstock was high as a kite. But I remember reading that they was high. And I feel like acid. Okay, it's in New York Times. Let me see. Is New York Times gonna let me read this? Oh, they are. Okay, hold on. It's in New York Times. This is a credible source. So maybe I ain't gonna be able to see it, but maybe I could find it. I want to see if I can find it just to make sure. Well, based off of the title, I was right. I didn't know it was acid. I thought it was heroin. Let's see. It's showing me lots of groups had long delays before their sets, but Santana was rushed onto the stage, right? When we landed, the first person I saw was my brother and friend Jerry Garcia. He looked like one of those yogis in a cave in the Himalayas. He had that beatific everything is all right already look. For me, he was like assurance, confidence, and a sanctuary. They told us we were going on 2 bands after the Grateful Dead. I recognize them, the Grateful Dead. He goes, well, man, you better get comfortable because apparently we're not going on until 1 o'clock in the morning. It's a mess here. And by the way, would you like to take some of this? It was mescaline. And I was like, let's see, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. By 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll be all right. I used to take LSD and mescaline a lot, so I knew the timing. After 8 or 10 hours, you're into what we call the amoeba state. Your thoughts become very galactic and universal and microscoped. 2 hours after I took it, there was a face in my face that said, you need to go on right now, otherwise you're not going to play. By this time, I was really, really on it, you know. I just held on to my faith and what my mom taught me. I asked over and over, just help me stay in tune and on time. That's crazy. I mean, they sounded perfect. It was tight, precise. Everybody played their butts off. So to know that they was hot, well, we're not going to say all of them. We're just going to stay with Carlos because it says they were asking Carlos Santana. So Carlos was high. And the way he was playing the the fact that he did that high, boy, the Lord sure answered his prayers that day. If he was high like that and he performed like that, that's amazing. That's amazing. I want to do some song research because I'm curious, does this song really not have lyrics? Soul Sacrifice. Oh, it's an album. Album released in 1969. Oh, track listing. Let me see. Oh, it is just an instrumental. It is just an instrumental. It's the last song on the album, Soul Sacrifice. An instrumental composed and recorded by American rock group Santana, identified as one of the highlights of the 1969 Woodstock Festival and documentary film. Yeah, I also didn't show him enough love. Yeah, Michael Shreve, drummer, he went crazy. Carlos Santana recalled the group wrote it when bassist David Brown joined. Yeah, I love that bass. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I love the bass line. It's hard to pick a standout. And all of them were incredible. I really can't pick a particular standout. It was just a phenomenal performance by a phenomenal group. Phenomenal, just crazy history and background. It was fun. It was energetic. Like I said, it was tight. Everybody was playing their butts off. That's just incredible to know that they was high and they weren't even supposed to. So I was completely wrong. I thought they performed twice. So they were scheduled to perform later, but I guess something happened with somebody and they just ended up replacing them. But they didn't play twice, if that's what I gathered from this New York Times post. So, but still, that's crazy. That's crazy and amazing. Amazing. Listen, man, that was my first Santana reaction, and it was so much fun and it's so much history. And they've been at it since the 60s, specifically Carlos Santana. So y'all gotta let me know what else from them I need to react to, man. I'm definitely excited. I'm ready to learn more about this phenomenal group and this phenomenal artist. So y'all let me know what else from Santana I need to check out, man. And I'm gonna get to it ASAP. But as always, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time with Santana. Peace.